All right, moving on to the secondary, family. The cornerback position, we start with Marshawn Lattimore, followed by Paulson Adebo, and then the nickelback is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That's settled. And then the safety position, Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu operate with a fantastic and beautiful starting secondary, man. The Saints defense looks even better on paper than what they did last year. Then, of course, you move into the depth situation. Paulson Adebo returning. Before we get there, Paulson Adebo returning. Remember last year we made the knee-jerk reaction to go get Bradley Roby from the Houston Texans in trade because they thought that Paulson Adebo, who had missed over a year of football, would not make it happen at that position. But what did Paulson do? Paulson took over the cornerback position and never let it go. From the word go, he's been running that thing opposite of Marshawn Lattimore, and I expect him to only get better. I only expect him to get better and better next to Lattimore, Laddie Daddy. And Adebo doesn't have that old boisterous frame. He's a humble dude that goes about the work. He's a very heady and smart player. He won't let you play with him. And I like Paulson Adebo. I like Laddie Daddy, the connection right there. They're phenomenal. And of course, you know, Marshawn Lattimore shutting people down left and right. Our best as I shut down cornerback. Lattimore will continue to improve. Remember, one of the knocks against Lattimore was his constant lapse in concentration, because he'll get bored out there. Notice over the last year or two, since Coach Richard's taken over the secondary, those lapses have disappeared. And you've seen supreme cornerback play from Marshawn Laddie Daddy Lattimore. Supreme play from him since Coach Richard occupied and took over the secondary. Phenomenal play from Laddie Daddy. Paulson Adebo, he got him ready to play. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did really good too. He just got to stop doing all that jawing this much. And he stepped up and performed and did solid play from the nickelback position. Expecting him to be more of the same this upcoming year. And of course, we talked about Tyrann Mathieu, which makes any secondary a Hall of Fame unit, an awesome all-pro unit. He steps in here with his vision, his versatility, and the Saints have two safeties that can trick the hell out of the defenses. They don't know how they come in or what they're doing because they're interchangeable. They can do both of anything. Mathieu and May can come up to the line of scrimmage and make plays or drop back in coverage. They're both very intelligent players as well. They got a propensity to be around the ball and make plays. Same with Marcus May, who has a nose for the ball. These are nose for the ball type players. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May, Laddie Daddy. These are nose for the ball type players. And when you have guys like that, they usually they capitalize on the mistakes of quarterbacks. They'll make interceptions. They'll have fumbles. They'll know what to do. They improve the overall intellect of your defense, and they don't get tricked by play action plays and misdirections and all this kind of stuff. They're very intelligent, which makes the Saints even stiffer in terms of the defense and how they're coming at you. So really am proud of that. Outside of all the talent, the really big thing that guys like that add is they overall upgrade the overall intellect or intelligence of the Saints defense, man. That's what I'm talking about. And then you move into the second layer. Alontae Taylor, the second round draft pick, is positioned on this unofficial depth chart behind Paulson Adebo, even though he could play the corner or the nickel, or the nickel position, corner position, or the safety position. You can move him around wherever you want. In this unofficial depth chart, they had him backing up Paulson Adebo. And then on the other side, you see Bradley Roby, and Alontae Taylor's another guy. Like I said, the Saints picked him up in the second round. What he looks to do is be one of these guys that if injuries hurt or have an issue there, he could be a guy that steps up and handles the business if Chauncey Gardner is out, he's injured. If you need him to come in to play for a safety, you got a lot of stuff going on. So like I said, man, I'm really proud on how the Saints are handling the business, man. And at the end of the day, it's just phenomenal and fantastic, the additions that they're making. A lot of questions at first about Alontae Taylor. But man, I'm telling you something, they don't take a safety or a guy that can do what he do in the second round unless they're looking at the future in terms of where he would play. And I'm thinking Alontae Taylor is directly aimed at Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's currently under 1 year left on the contract. Could possibly be Alontae Taylor as Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's replacement. Could be, we'll see. And of course, you look at the rest of the guys they pick. We know PJ Williams comes back. He could play the nickel. He could play the safety position. He might be the guy they choose to play the safety position if Marcus May is not there. Who knows? It could be that case. PJ coming back. He had a stellar year last year. He had 3 interceptions, which was tied for the team lead with 4 other players, I want to say it was. So PJ stepped up. He earned his contract, had one of his better years in some time. So it's good to see him return. Bradley Roby's a guy that really they restructured. I thought he would be a guy the Saints would trade to open up cap, but the Saints reworked his money and then brought him back to the team. And that's the big thing. He's seen as he's the 4th cornerback. He's seen as the 4th cornerback in a loaded secondary room. And even though Bradley Roby can go to other teams and start for them, he has that kind of experience. But for you to have him as your 4th cornerback, that's pretty spectacular. There, I think you probably got the best 4th cornerback in the league with Bradley Roby. This guy could actually start for teams. So, I mean, the Saints are deep, man, in that position. So we'll see what he yet to do. He still came in here. He still has to figure out and get a full camp of being in the Saints system and kind of get his head around him. No pressure on Bradley Roby. He can learn from behind all these fantastic guys. And if something goes wrong in injuries or C19, he can step in and kind of handle the business, man. You see what I'm saying? Then we move on to Daniel Sorensen, which you see Justin Evans is behind him. I'll probably switch those two, put Evans ahead of Sorensen. I don't see Sorensen as a starting or even a reserve safety insofar as if he's starting for you, you're gonna have problems because athletically, he's really intelligent and knows where to be, but athletically, he's a major detriment. So I see Daniel Sorensen as a guy the Saints are bringing in with special teams value. So that's how I see Sorensen. Justin Evans is a very, very interesting. He's one of these players we talked about, like a Forrest Lamp or Contavious Street. Justin Evans is one of these guys the Saints didn't basically pay anything to get him. They gave him a super cheap contract as a prove-it deal pretty much for Justin Evans. He's a former 2nd-round draft pick, defensive back for the Bucs. He'll knock your head off. He had several injuries that forced him to quit football over the last 2 years. He's still a very young defensive back, and he's looking to kind of recapture or come back to what he was before he lost. He's 26 years of age. You're getting him for knockdown, drag out rate, and you're gonna get this guy here. Like I said, he's a guy that has some injuries priorly. He's been banged up again, but he's healthy. And he's 6 feet, 200 pounds. He'll knock your head off. And it's really interesting to see Justin Evans be here because I'm interested to see what position that he plays, and how he looks in training camp. He can make it very difficult on some guys right there, pushing for the back. Like I said, these defensive positions, these secondary positions are ridiculous, especially the safety position. Okay, let's keep it going. Behind him, and then of course you see JT Gray's position about Tyrann Mathieu. JT Gray, I like JT Gray a lot. I just don't think he helps you as a safety in the secondary. He's more of a special teams ace right there, which I think a lot of the black and gold want to see guys that can do a little bit of both, that can help him as if injuries occur, they can step in and play the position for a handful of games till the starter comes back, and then still be able to perform on special teams. So I just don't see JT Gray as a safety that can help you. Gray got a good size, but he's just not there as a safety yet. And of course, you see guys like Smoke Monday, who is another guy that's in the safety room that a lot of people want to see a lot of Smoke Monday, man. He got the attributes and the size and the talent. Could he make a name for himself in the black and gold secondary? Only time will tell. Then we go with the rest of the cornerbacks, which are merely just practice squad guys like Dylan Maben, who was here last year. DeMarcus Fields, also the same guy. Jordan Miller and Vincent Gray was an undrafted guy. Both DeMarcus Fields and Gray they brought recently, along with Smoke Monday, as undrafted guys. But both Miller and Maben were here last year, and I don't see these guys as I see these mostly as practice squad guys. To say the least. None of these guys really made a name for themselves as of yet. Bryce Thompson is the exception. Bryce Thompson name has been ringing out. You heard Dennis Allen talk about Bryce Thompson. Last year, he was doing the same things for the black and gold. Bryce Thompson knows how to play football. The issue is last year, Bryce Thompson got hurt. The Saints released him, then they brought him back later on. but he's a guy that can really impact the team. He does a lot of fantastic stuff. He's undersized at 5'11", 190. But this little dude right here knows how to play football, man. He flashes all the time. You can't help but to notice Bryce Thompson in plays. He got a big heart. Bryce Thompson is a guy trying to make a name for himself. Remember, he was a cornerback. They played him at cornerback and then switched his position to safety. And then when he was at cornerback, he was making plays last year for him. They switched him to safety, making plays for you, which means that you want to keep this guy on your team. Bryce Thompson. Find a spot for Bryce Thompson on your goddamn team. Let me just keep it a buck with you. All right, and that's the whole defense right there, fam.
Perfect.